There is a version of you that must die. Not your body, not your name, not your dreams, but the person who keeps choosing comfort over greatness. More than 2,000 years ago, the ancient philosophers understood a truth that still governs every human life today. They believed that a man is not destroyed first by his enemies, nor by poverty, nor by bad fortune. He is destroyed by the version of himself he refuses to let go. Long before the world knew the language of psychology, they knew that the greatest prison was the one built inside the mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that every sunrise offered the opportunity to become a different man. Yet most people wake up carrying yesterday's fears, yesterday's failures, yesterday's excuses, and yesterday's identity. They ask for a different future while protecting the very habits that created their present. They pray for change while clinging to the person standing in the way of it. If you truly desire a new life, you cannot negotiate with the old you. You must kill it. Every empire that has ever existed feared invasion from outside. They built towering walls, trained mighty armies, and forged powerful weapons. Yet history reveals something astonishing. Most great civilizations were never defeated because their enemies became stronger. They fell because they became weaker from within. Corruption entered their hearts long before enemies crossed their borders. Your life follows the same law. The greatest enemy you will ever face does not live in another country. It does not wear another face. It wakes up with you every morning. It speaks with your own voice. It whispers, "Start tomorrow." It says, "You are not ready." It reminds you of every failure while convincing you to repeat the same habits that caused them. That voice is not your destiny. It is your old identity fighting for survival. The ancient Stoics believed that every repeated thought becomes a habit, every habit shapes character, and every character creates destiny. A man who repeatedly chooses comfort eventually becomes comfort. A man who repeatedly chooses discipline eventually becomes discipline. The choices appear small, but over time they build the person you become. Most people believe they are trapped by circumstances. They blame their family, their environment, their finances, or their past. But the philosophers taught something far more uncomfortable. They taught that people are often imprisoned by the story they continue telling themselves. I've always been this way. I've never been confident. I'm just unlucky. This is who I am. Every time those words leave your mouth, you strengthen invisible chains around your own life. The mind believes whatever it hears often enough. The greatest prison has no walls. It is built from repeated thoughts. Human beings become addicted to familiarity, even when familiarity hurts them. People remain inside relationships that slowly destroy their peace because suffering has become familiar. They stay inside jobs that drain their souls because uncertainty feels more frightening than unhappiness. They postpone dreams year after year because disappointment has become easier than the possibility of greatness. Imagine a bird born inside a cage. One day the cage door is opened. Freedom stands only a few inches away. Yet the bird refuses to fly. Not because it lacks wings, because it has forgotten they exist. Many people are living exactly like that. The prison is invisible. It is built from fear, doubt, regret, excuses, and memories repeated until they begin to sound like truth. Ancient wisdom teaches that freedom does not begin when the world changes. Freedom begins when your mind changes. Every civilization understood that transformation required death before rebirth. Before becoming a warrior, the young boy was separated from comfort and forced to confront fear. Before wearing a crown, a prince endured years of hardship. Before becoming a sage, the student abandoned pride and accepted humility. Transformation always demanded sacrifice. Because two identities cannot occupy the same soul, you cannot become disciplined while protecting laziness. You cannot become courageous while feeding fear. You cannot become wise while clinging to ignorance. Nature has been teaching this lesson since the beginning of time. The seed disappears before becoming the tree. The caterpillar dissolves before becoming the butterfly. Iron enters the fire before becoming the sword. Nothing truly powerful escapes the furnace of transformation. Yet somehow modern society expects greatness without discomfort. People want confidence without taking risks. They want strength without struggle. They want success without sacrifice. But the ancient philosophers would simply smile, because they knew a timeless truth. Everything valuable demands the death of something lesser.
The person you are today cannot carry you into the future you dream about. One of the greatest tragedies in life is becoming emotionally attached to an outdated version of yourself. Some people spend decades introducing themselves through old wounds. They define themselves by childhood pain, broken relationships, missed opportunities, or failures that happened years ago. Their past becomes their identity instead of their education. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that the only thing completely under his control was his own mind. Not the opinions of others, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Only this present moment and the choices made within it. Think about how much power exists in that realization. Your future does not ask who you were yesterday. It only responds to who you choose to become today. Every time you repeat your old story, you resurrect the very person standing between you and your destiny. Stop introducing yourself through your scars. Introduce yourself through your decisions. Ancient philosophy never worshipped motivation. It respected discipline. Motivation arrives like the morning mist. Beautiful. Temporary. Gone before the sun reaches its highest point. Discipline remains when motivation disappears. The old version of you waits until everything feels perfect. The new version acts because action itself creates momentum. The old version negotiates. The new version obeys purpose. The old version searches for comfort. The new version searches for growth. Every early morning you choose to wake instead of sleeping longer. Every workout completed when your body wanted rest. Every book opened instead of another hour lost to distraction. Every difficult conversation you refuse to avoid. Every promise you keep to yourself. You are not merely completing another task. You are burying one identity and building another. Identity is never created through words. It is created through repeated action. The Stoics practiced a remarkable exercise. Every day they remembered death, not because they feared it, because they respected life. Knowing that time is limited removes the illusion that tomorrow is guaranteed. Imagine standing at the end of your life. Imagine looking backward across every year you were given. Would you regret the mistakes you made? Or would you regret the chances you never took? Most people do not suffer because they failed. They suffer because they hesitated, because they waited, because they postponed becoming the person they already knew they could become. Every sunrise quietly removes another page from your story. No amount of wealth can purchase another chapter. No amount of regret can rewrite yesterday. All you possess is today, and today is enough. Now imagine attending a funeral. The room is silent. The people stand still. There is a coffin before you. As you slowly walk toward it, you look inside. Lying there is not another person. It is the old you, the procrastinator, the excuse maker, the victim, the coward, the people pleaser, the version that constantly waited for permission, the version that abandoned dreams at the first sign of difficulty, the version that sought approval instead of purpose. Now imagine the lid closing forever, not with sadness, but with gratitude, because that person no longer controls your future. As you walk away from that funeral, you are not leaving something valuable behind. You are leaving behind everything that prevented you from becoming who you were meant to be. From this moment forward, you become someone who keeps promises, someone who honors discipline, someone who chooses action over comfort, someone who remains calm when others panic, someone who understands that greatness is never inherited. It is earned, quietly, daily, repeatedly. There is an ancient idea that echoes across generations. Become so transformed that the person you were 5 years ago would not recognize the person you have become. Not because of money, not because of status, not because of fame, but because your mind has become stronger, your character has become deeper, your discipline has become unshakable, your peace has become untouchable. The strongest people who ever lived were not always those who conquered kingdoms. They were those who conquered themselves. Because anyone can rule another person.
few can rule their own mind. Every morning, two versions of you awaken. One seeks comfort, the other seeks greatness. One asks for another excuse, the other asks for another opportunity. One protects the past, the other creates the future. Every decision you make feeds one and starves the other, because the life you have been praying for, the purpose you have been searching for, and the destiny waiting ahead will never belong to the person you refuse to leave behind. Kill the old you, and let the warrior within finally rise.
Eternal warriors.